really appreciate it. I know a lot of people are out there hurting financially, and of course, if you're low on money, please buy supplies for yourself rather than donate to me. But if you found it helpful that I've been doing these kinds of presentations, staying up till all hours
We
trying
got
to familiarize
Stefan
myself
Molyneux in
with
the
some pretty
background,
arcane material,
just in case
if
if
you find
anybody
this
is
helpful and
wondering.
it's saved you money, it's saved you time, it's given you peace of mind, please, freedomain.com/donate. Only what you can afford. Please don't send me anything you can't afford. Keep that for yourself. But if you do have some extra resources, I would really, really appreciate it, because donations, of course, are down because people are losing jobs and so on. And again, please don't send me anything you can't afford. But if you can, I would hugely appreciate it. The link, of course, is below. So anyway, I was thinking about the boomers dumping their kids in daycares. Now, one of the things that happens to kids in daycares, if you don't know, is that they get sick, like an insane amount. If you're in daycare, you're a kid in daycare, you are going to get sick 18 times more often than if you're at home, which means that your childhood is just basically one long misery of staggering from cold to flu to whatever, right? Some sort of infection or some sort of stomach ailment or whatever it is, right? Worms or, I don't know, of aliens burying eggs in your belly. So, also, if you are in daycare,
Whoa!
about 20% of the kids in daycare are just sick. And over 80% of kids who are ill still get dropped off at daycare, right? Because the parents are like, hey, man, I got to get to work. All right. Need to chase the money. Got to chase the money. And every year that your kid is in daycare, that kid is at a 50 to 100% increased risk of a serious or even fatal disease. This is especially true with this multiculturalism, massive import of people from all over the world. They bring all of their pathogens with them. Like the communists in the media and in academia and in Hollywood are still infinitely more angry at the European settlers who inadvertently brought smallpox to the New World, much more so than the Chinese Communist Party that covered up and helped unleash this virus on the world. And of course, when the Europeans came to the New World, or rather came back to the New World, they'd been there before, there wasn't even a germ theory. Nobody knew anything about germs. Germ theory wasn't developed until the late 19th century. This, of course, occurred long before that. So people who had no concept of germs, those people are held infinitely more responsible. Wiped out, genocide, biological warfare, and so on. But of course, the communists who covered up and released all this stuff, well, they're, talk about that, they're fine. It's America's fault. God, it's contemptible. I can't even tell you just how contemptible it is. So, anyway, the point is that boomers dumped their kids in daycare where the kids got sick all of the time, and sometimes seriously ill, and sometimes fatally ill. And now, the boomers are in retirement homes worrying about getting sick. It's not right, but I'm sort of trying to plumb and understand. Was it Vanessa Hudgens or someone who put out this cold videos about, people are going to die? Where does this coldness towards the elder generation comes from? Well, it has a lot to do with, of course, how terrible the schools are. It has a lot to do with being dumped in daycare and just not having that one-on-one.
Yeah, it comes from the boomers
parents.
fucking us over every chance they got. Nobody gives a fuck about boomers anymore, and we rightly should not.
It has a lot to do with the boomers' incessant greed and failure to fight creeping leftism and socialism and subjectivism and
exactly. Thank you, Stefan.
That kind of stuff. And not just failing to fight it, but actively attacking anyone like
Yep.
myself who
Yep.
did fight it. So
that's why we don't give a fuck about you, boomers.
In life, and I am concerned that some of the coldness of the elder generation is causing.
Hey, Gizmo.
Or, I say causing because it's still all free will, but it is contributing to this coldness toward the elder generation, where they're calling it the boomer remover or the boomer doomer or these kinds of things, right? This hatred and contempt towards the boomers is really, really significant and powerful and alarming, of course, right? I'm not saying it's entirely undeserved, but of course you don't want to paint everyone with the same brush, right? There's a lot of boomers who are fighting about this kind of stuff.
Yeah, we get it, Stefan.
And all right. So let us appreciate. Look at this. We've had 60 frames a second. I can't even tell you what wrestling work I've been doing with my internet lately, but I think we're doing well here. Let's see here.
Oops. That meat needs to stay in here.
Yeah, I've heard this Lyme disease was a bioweapon. I looked into that briefly. I didn't find any particular evidence. It's true. I was in daycare all of my young life and in before and after school programs until moving in with my dad. Yeah, daycare is terrible. It's incredibly destructive for the children. It is monstrous. It's low rent, low quality people in general who are teaching in the daycare, and
nice short on
you know, people, they dump their kids in daycare, and then they say, well, like when the kids get to be teenagers, like, how come you're listening to my peers more than me? It's like, because you dumped me in daycare. Because you dumped me in daycare, I ended up having to wrestle with and deal with my peers rather than you. And if you put your kids in daycare, in my view, you are pretty much guaranteeing yourself hell on earth when it comes to the teenage years, because your kid doesn't want to be in daycare, and you've taught the kid, hey, I don't care that you don't want to be in daycare.
Exactly.
Mommy wants a job.
Yep. Exactly.
Okay. So you've just taught the kid that you don't have to care what other people want. And so then when the kid gets older and starts roaming around the neighborhood, and then you say, well, this is upsetting to me, the kid's like, yeah, well, it was upsetting for me that you put me in daycare, so why the hell should I care about your feelings when you didn't care about mine? I mean, you've got to devote yourself to your kids. Otherwise, the teenage years are going to be hell on earth. All right. All prostitutes should wear hazmat suits.
That's funny.
Let's see here.
I love the comments
that
that
this would never
Stefan
happen in a
reads.
free market libertarianocracy. Yeah, I mean, why on earth would any free society want to create such a weapon? And of course, here's the other thing too. So in a free market society,
Where's that crafty?
it drives me
crafting
insane.
station?
Like, I'm still wrestling with this after many decades. Like, it drives me crazy just how in this world that we live in, bad people on the far side of political power, like over the red fiery mode of political power, they face virtually no negative consequences for their horrible actions. You know, when George Bush Jr. lied America into a war with Iraq and to some degree Afghanistan, well, what happened? He's got a nice retirement, does a couple of speaking gigs, shows people his paintings on his iPad on a plane. It's fine. No conscience, no issues, no problems. You know, I put out a video a little while back ago where the left and right channels were separated. I was talking in one ear, somebody else was talking in another, and I'm like, oh man! I'm like, oh, I gotta fix that. Felt bad, right? No particular harm done. Never did start a war that killed hundreds of thousands of people, destabilized an entire region, and in the city of Fallujah didn't unleash weapons
Cementing paste.
that genetically destroy the population to the point where they'll be birth
God
defects for
damn it.
generations. Nothing bad happens. Nothing bad happens. People who get everything wrong in the media, nothing bad happens. Nothing bad happens. I wouldn't want to live in that world with no feedback for negative behavior, for destructive behavior. And yeah, I mean, China's going to get away with it. Nothing bad's going to happen. Fine. They probably shorted a whole bunch of American stocks. So,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
most likely.
nothing's going to happen. Nobody has any negative consequences. You know, I was thinking about this the other day. A friend of mine, when I was younger, had really, really tough family situation. I won't get into any details because it's not their fault that I have a voice, but really, really had a difficult time and was really having trouble concentrating on his studies. And he didn't do very well. Didn't fail out, but didn't do very well. And he was put on academic probation. And that's pretty serious stuff. I mean, you want to get through your degree, going on academic probation, it takes a year out of your life. You're not allowed to go back to the university for a year. So you got to find something else to do, and your whole life is on hold for like a year.
Yeah.
And it's like shaving a year off your life in some way, right? So he sat down, he wrote this letter saying, you know, man, here's all the stuff that was going on. Boom, boom, boom. It was really, really a heavy scene, and you know, it's been resolved. I am absolutely committed. You know, please let me back in. Let me just come in for a semester, see how I do, blah, 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 right? And what did the administration say? They wrote him back saying, well, you see, if you were facing these personal crises, you should have just adjusted your course load lower so that you could manage the situation.
Oh my God.
And he was like, what, 19, I think, or 20?
What happened to all the ankles that were running around over here?
So,
Oh,
he
that's
was blamed
right.
for things outside of his control. Yeah, you could say, well, he should have lowered his course load or something like that. But, you're just battling. You're just trying to get through, right? And okay, so you can say, well, that's their prerogative. That's fine. They can do that. It's like, sure, sure, it's fine. They can do that. Absolutely. But these were all boomers, right? And when I was a kid, like I had a crazy, chaotic, violent home life. Nobody ever said to me, oh, well, yeah, it's true. You can't really study at home. You kind of got to go to the library and you don't sleep at night because your mom's pacing around. And my mom we had this very loud electric typewriter. My mom would sometimes be up all night obsessively writing this, that, or the other in my room. Like it's impossible to sleep. And so I was never I'm held to the
Oh,
same
wait.
standards as everyone else. And maybe there's some good stuff in
Oh,
that.
no way.
There's
That's
certainly some bad
awesome.
stuff in that. And I don't know
The
how
stats
schools
that
would
this thing
solve
gives
that
you.
particular problem because people could just lie about their home life and all that. But um, there was no relaxation of standards for me and no relaxation of standards for my friend. The boomers were like, hey, man, I don't care. You got to be held to the same standards. You're completely responsible. At the age of, I guess I was like 10 or whatever, right? Or my friend who was like 19 or 20, you're 100% responsible. Okay. So that's the rule, right? 100% responsible. So when boomers cry victim,
Yeah.
little tough.
Come
Little
here.
tough to take it seriously. Pneumonia can cause permanent lung damage. Do not be hysterical, folks. Parents who kicked you out as soon as you were 18 during the 2008 global recession, where it's hard to get a minimum job dishwashing, weren't the best either. Oh, I'm sorry about that.
Yeah, come up here. Come up here.
Let's see here. Is anybody sick? I see 0 people sick. Thank you for taking your slings and arrows. Hey, man, it's for the cause. If it helps you guys, I would rather, you always see in these movies, like the people are like they're trying to get to safety, and some guy like there's dinosaurs or bad guys or lions, and some guy's like, hey, over here, and they all go chasing him. I mean, I'm not sort of trying to paint myself as some heroic guy that way, but my life has been kind of set up to the point where the arrows bounce off me. I mean, I've very, very consciously set up my life to the point where, all of the ghastly, revolting insults that are thrown at me for being pro-freedom, anti-spanking, anti-circumcision, anti-child abuse, anti-communist, anti-statist, anti-socialist, anti-fascist, anti-national socialist, anti-Nazi, blah, blah, blah. All of the rain of arrows that come down on me, like I've kind of designed my life to take those. And if you just take those without having designed your life that way, it's pretty rough. I mean, it's kind of rough at times. I'll be honest with you. There's times where I'm reading an article like, oh, man, that's pretty bad. I wouldn't like that guy at all. But I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to do it. It helps. And listen, you guys, by contributing to what it is that I do, supporting me at freedomain.com/donate, sharing the videos, sharing the podcast, just sharing the ideas, if that's too hard a thing for you to do, we're all part of the same thing. We're all part of, I mean, I'm a little bit front and center, but we're all part of the same thing. All right. COVID-19 is the illness. The virus's name is, quote, severe acute respiratory syndrome coronavirus 2, SARS-CoV-2. Yes, I think that's the case. Steph, will you ever move to the USA? Why or why not? It's pretty tough to move to the States, by the way. It is pretty tough to move to the States, and demographically, the world is not, the States is not going to be particularly friendly to me in the future. So, is the American-Canadian border still open? No, but thank you for reminding me. The Canadian-American border has been closed, and it is closed for non-essential. So for tourism, for vacations, for recreation, you cannot cross the border. If you're a trade or essential person, something. So, yeah. It is
Mackenzie, what are you doing?
Open. Sarah says, I followed you for a long time. I follow you a long time now, and you give a sense of ease during this time. Thank you for working so diligently on getting this information across to your supporters. Well, thank you. Thank you very much for your support and your kind words. I appreciate that. And it's not just my supporters. I mean, you take this information out there. You can just go to my website where I put all the links to this. I put the links in the description below, and just share the links. Again, it doesn't have to touch me at all. If I'm too hot a commodity for you, that's fine. Debate Destiny. You guys are like so OCD on this kind of stuff.
Let's go.
Some people say fear mongering. Yeah, I mean that's it's not an argument to say fear mongering. This is not an argument. I understand that, but I do have people who are giving me information that is not generally in the public purview. I'm not pulling this stuff out of nowhere. And fear mongering is, to me, if you simply dangle scary things in front of people without giving them actionable items, then that's sort of fear mongering, right? But if you say, look, here's the risks, and I've never said this is going to be a disaster. I mean, I've said I hope it's not. I have my concerns. You know, the numbers are not doubling in the way, but that could be for a number of reasons. It could be because tests are limited. It could be because people are still asymptomatic. It could be any number of things. It might be too late to have done anything than buy a little bit of time with social isolation. Maybe it has solved this particular round of the outbreak. But the virus is still out there. Like, until there's a vaccine, until there's a cure, and given its mutational rate, that seems tricky. Although, as I said, there are some indications that we've got good success rates in China and good success rates in France in tests. But, you know, still pretty preliminary. And of course, you know, when you can release people from the endless slow-down red tape of the Food and Drug Administration or other regulatory bodies in the West, the creative genius of the market and the scientists and all of the people, it's going to be incredibly powerful. So the free market unleashed is the most amazing thing on the planet, and now that people are being unleashed will help, but it's still there. I mean, so let's say you don't get it now.
Yeah, it
because
is.
You can. It's like holding your breath underwater. It doesn't turn you into a fish, right? You got to come up and breathe at some point. And so you might be, of course, in the situation where you say, "Hey, I don't have it yet, and I'm socially isolating and so on." But can you spend the rest of your life that way? Well, no. At some point, society has to reemerge. It has to come out of its bunker, and it has to start interacting. And when that happens, the virus is still around. It doesn't vanish. So, at some point, you know, it's going to hit, or we're going to have some sort of prevention or cure. All right. Let's see. I had what I believe is a normal cold since last Wednesday, but I decided to self-isolate just in case. My condition has not deteriorated as yet, thankfully. I think that is a good idea. Somebody says, I'm from the Netherlands. We'll fill all IC intensive care beds in 5 to 6 days. What do you predict will happen after that?
Let's go.
I think we all know what will happen after that is that people will be sick and they will not have access to the kind of resources that can keep them alive, right? All right. Hi from broken South Africa. Hi, I hope you guys are staying safe down there. Molyneux has an injured neck from looking back at his glory days.
What is going on?
No, actually, I have an injured neck because of cancer surgery, but, you know, your joke is pretty funny, too. All right. Too many people act irrationally in the face of fear. But you can't withhold the truth because you're afraid of how people will react. I mean, that's not under your control. Whether you tell the truth is important, and that's under your control. How people react to it? Let's see here. This demands border closures as people ran from hot zones. We still had diseases coming across the border. We have an unlinked tuberculosis case here in an elementary school immigrant kid. Oh yeah, for sure. All this medieval stuff has been coming for a while. And all of those of us talking about closed borders and stopping mass immigration and all of that. Well, you know, I've said this a million times. I'll say it again. Philosophy means always being sorry that you're right. Will you be releasing Essential Philosophy in print? Ebooks and audiobooks aren't my thing. Essential Philosophy is available in... Oh, it's not. No, you're right. I don't think so. I don't have any time for that kind of stuff at the moment. I'm sorry. If somebody wants to, you know, if you have experience with this kind of stuff and you want to give me a ping, that would be excellent. Stefan, let's get Dr. Peterson from blah, blah, blah. I could get that scheduled for you. Yeah, Anthony, just send me an email, operations@freedomain.com. Do you have enough toilet paper? Good Lord, what am I, a savage? Who on earth uses toilet paper? Scented wipes. Thank you very much. Stefan is silent on... Wait, what are people complaining about now? Stefan is silent on event 201 on the mass simulation of the coronavirus. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that when you can detect the sulfur content of the crematorium from space, it's not just a simulation. Um, and no, fear is a powerful emotion that saves lives for millions of years. Absolutely. All of our emotions are healthy. All of our emotions are healthy. Not every single emotion we ever experience is healthy, but all of our general emotional categories are very helpful. All right. Um, I've already heard of business owners having to lay off everyone. Their business is done. One example. Oh yeah, no, I mean I get messages from people who cancel their subscriptions, and yeah, it's all like, yeah, I've lost my job and all of that, and please again, cancel your subscription to me if you lose your job, please, unless you get fired and you're Bill Gates or something. Does this really justify border control? I do not like cheap points. The previous arguments were sufficient. Real question. Well, I don't know how you go around convincing people, but getting people to stare at thousands of bodies should be enough. But it does one of two things, right? Either somebody looks at those thousands of bodies that have been the result of lax border controls, and they say, "Holy crap, that's terrible! I should really rethink my position because there's thousands of bodies, and there may be tens of thousands of bodies or hundreds of thousands of bodies at some point." Or they say, "I don't care. It's my belief system," in which case they're a complete sociopath, and you should just run from them slowly. Herd immunity thoughts. I mean, it could happen, but man, it's an ugly way to go. Why are there no videos of sick people speaking out? I mean,
Come on, need this
how
quicker.
long until anarchy? Well, it depends on us. Thoughts on David Icke's interview on London Real? I've not watched it. I am preparing, of course, for my debate tomorrow with J.F. Garrity, who is a moral nihilist, and we will be debating whether ethics is a valid concept at all, if there's any truth to ethical theories, and he has had some very critical things, though not comprehensible things, to say against my theory of ethics, universally preferable behavior. So tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, be right here on this bat channel. It's going to be a really, really great debate. There are videos of sick people speaking out, well, sure. What is the risk of hyperinflation from all the stimulus? Well, 100%. Of course, 100%. That's going to be a great debate. I think so. Stefan doesn't really believe in capitalism if he goes all totalitarian lockdown at the first sign of a sniffle. Wait, having borders is now totalitarian? I don't understand. You know who was open borders? China was open borders. The Chinese Communist Party was all kinds of open borders when it came to shipping this stuff overseas. So, again, if thousands of bodies piling up doesn't cause you to rethink your position, please stay away from me. Stay away from my channel. Stay away from me. Attack me, reject me, say I'm the worst guy ever, because I think you're kind of a monstrous human being, and I want you to have absolutely nothing to do with me or philosophy or my show or anything like that. So if thousands of bodies don't even cause a hiccup in your ideological commitments, you need to be far, far away from what it is that I'm doing, and you need to be somebody who consistently says what a bad guy I am, who consistently says how terrible I am, and all of that. I really, really strongly encourage you to reject me in the strongest possible terms, because as your life plays out, I don't want to have anything to do with the rest of that. Steph, why have there been no new outbreaks in China? How do you know? How do you know what's going on in China? You know, the Chinese government has been persecuting Falun Gong people for 20 years, 20 plus years? There are reports that if you want a piece of human anatomy, you can schedule it ahead of time so they can drag people out of cages and remove their organs and give them to you. But yeah, I'm sure they're really committed into telling truths that make them look bad. What do you think about silver solution? I don't know. I mean, this colloidal silver and stuff, I don't know. I really don't ask me about healthcare stuff. I'm a philosopher, not a doctor. Jim. Have you read The Plague by Albert Camus? Absolutely, yeah. I did actually read that. I read that when I was a teenager, and I remember it being an incredibly gripping book. And it is one of the things that kind of informed me about this kind of stuff. And it's called La Peste, I think, in the original French, but Albert Camus, you should read The Plague. It's a very, very good book. I mean, he was pretty horrible, but... Is it a good time to buy gold or Bitcoin? Please don't ask me for investment advice. I'm not selling anything I've got. Let me put it to you that. All right. Would you have dated a 27-year-old virgin if she was good looking? Sure. Absolutely. You're above criticism. Holy crap. I guess we just worship you then or leave. You know what? Please, yeah,
I
you
gotta go to
continue
bed.
to. If you think that I just am above criticism and don't take feedback, then you need to keep criticizing me, think I'm a bad guy, think I'm a narcissist, think I'm vain. And that way, when your life plays out in horrible ways, people won't associate you with anything that I'm doing. Please just do it. Just do it. All right. Yeah, the claim of permanent lung damage is a game changer. Even if you recover, you might have 20% loss in function. I don't know. Have you ever had a debate with Alex Jones? No. Would you use a bidet? Only if I was thirsty. I'm 38 and date a 21-year-old. Well, either that means she's ridiculously mature or you're ridiculously immature. I'm going to go with the latter. Will the West continue business as usual with China after this is all over? So this is just a way of teaching people about communism and teaching people about economics and teaching people about regulatory capture and all of that kind of stuff. What advice would you give Trump right now? So the advice, here we go. President Trump, here's what you need to do. You need to be a leader and you need to explain to people that the coronavirus is not the fundamental problem. It is a symptom of the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is this ridiculous open borders. The fundamental problem is all of the regulations, all of the taxes, all of the union privileges that have driven all of the manufacturing overseas. And the other fundamental problem that you have is you have an intellectual class in the United States that is sociopathically addicted to a murderous belief system, communism, socialism, hard socialism, communism. The coronavirus has revealed all of that. This is like flipping the light on and you see all the roaches in the room, right? The roaches being bad ideas, not people, right? And so you need to be a leader and you need to have like a long presentation. I mean, you got to have your charts, you got to have your graphs, you got to have, here's how all of this came to be. Now, maybe it's not you, maybe it's somebody else, but you need to start educating people on all of the dominoes that fell for this to have taken root and taken hold in the way that it has, and for America to have its economy shut down because of a virus. There are other economies that are functioning pretty well, even economies that are closer to China. I mean, Russia shares a 2,300-mile border with China directly, and it's had its very, very first death, which is an old woman who has had other health issues. So you need to start educating people. There is a very strong chance that the reset that's been necessary for many, many decades. So I did a research into, this is back in 2011. In 2011, adjusting for inflation, spending on welfare was 17 times higher than it was when the war on poverty was first introduced in the 1960s under Lyndon Baines Johnson, the US president who jumped into the seat after they scooped JFK out. And this has all been absolutely terrible for America. And this reset, this massive debt, this empire that can't be sustained, these unfunded liabilities, the fact that there's no money in the Social Security kitty other than a bunch of dusty Treasury IOUs, the fact that none of this, propping up with immigration, propping up with quantitative easing, propping up with crushing interest rates, propping up with debt, none of this is going to last. And so you could use this as a big teachable moment to say to people, this is our wake-up call for an unsustainable and brutal system that is preying upon the young, that is causing the old to fog in economic delusion, that is destructive around the world, predatory at home. And you can say, we got to change everything. This is not about coronavirus. Coronavirus is like the straw that breaks the camel's back of a society that can't sustain itself, that is mired in illusion and counterfeiting and debt. We need a rational currency. We need an end to hyperregulation. We need more freedom, not less freedom. The government mailing out checks to anyone is just going to make things worse because it's an illusion. And you need to tell people that. Yeah, I can print $100,000 a week for everyone in the country, but it's going to be worth nothing. It's not going to make you any wealthier. It's just going to drive prices up. There is no magical government printing press solution to these kinds of issues. So you've got to start teaching people. It should be like 24/7. Just get people, have like a White House education channel. Just have it running 24/7. Bring in your experts. Have the people understand, wake them up to the hyper unreality Weimar-style nature of a system that's eating itself and eating its young, which is just about the worst thing that any political economic system can do. Just give the young no future, bury them under debt. No more bailouts. No bailouts. More bailouts will drive young people into the arms of communism, and the rich are basically signing their own death warrants if they continue to greedily grab at the milky white hyper printing press government teat of imaginary infinite cash. You need to educate people about everything that's gone wrong in the system. In this moment, when people are home and they can actually learn something, they're home, they can actually watch something, you need to take this pause in this economic whirlpool that characterizes a money printing democracy.
All right, I'm back.
Democracide, I guess is the way, like suicide by democracy. They're home, they can learn something, make it engaging, make it entertaining, make it interesting, animate it, get comedians or the 3 conservative celebrities out there to do this, but you need to launch a massive educational campaign so that people can understand the sacrifices that are necessary to reset the system.
Man, he's good stuff. Stefan, I've been listening to for over a decade now. He is a sharp cat.
What the hell it's for, but they won't accept sacrifices if they think it's for the sake of another bailout to the rich. You won't get any sacrifices from people. In fact, people will start seriously thinking about it, taking a cue from Aerosmith and eating the rich for dinner. Spirit cooking style. So this is an incredible moment. This is why I've been working so hard on all this stuff. Like, this is an incredible inverted pyramid moment where we could wake up.
Trying to get the roof done on this in case of that bird wakes up.
So that's what I would do. Use this as an excuse or a mechanism by which educating people on the unsustainable horrors of the system that is. And have them accept that the reset is important. You know, people sacrifice so much for their children. They get up in the middle of the night. They go to Disneyland 12 times in a row when they don't care about it. They do make incredible sacrifices for their children.
Mackenzie, what's the matter?
And if you could hook into that and say, this system is eating its young. Young people have no future under the current system.
What, baby?
Take the necessary sacrifices.
Well, bring it over here and let Danny look at it.
In a way that makes sense to them, they will accept those sacrifices. I mean, there'll be some people who won't, I guess, whatever, right? But the majority of people won't. So,
I need a bunch of arrows.
That's what I would do if I was in his situation. Massive educational effort. Get people touring, get people, well, maybe not touring these days, but, you know, just get people to understand what's going on. So, all right. Steph, I'm afraid of my parents telling me that I'm overreacting when I tell them to prepare. How do I overcome that fear and persist? I'm sorry that you're afraid of your parents. I'm really sorry that you're afraid of your parents. I would sit down and have a conversation with them. I've got a whole book on this called Real-Time Relationships, which you can find at freedomain.com.
Go on your chair.
And
go on your chair.
You sit down with your parents and
say,
Were
you playing in the wood stove?
Tell you to prepare,
What'd
but
you
I'm
do
scared.
here?
Like, you got to figure out, why do they have so little respect for you, the child they raised, but they don't respect
go sit down on your chair.
I respect the wisdom of my daughter, and she's 11. What do you think of New Zealand? No, I just did something already. Sorry if you showed up late, but you believe in Baby Yoda. I don't know. They used to be prettier. Dolls used to be prettier. Now we've basically got little orcs. Is it right to draw the conclusion that European countries with large immigration have suffered the most from corona spread? Yeah, of course. Of course. Do you believe in Q? I do not believe in Q. Tell them, listen up, Boomer. Me and my wife have to cancel her dream wedding. Should we still get married but without a party? We want to start a family soon, not in a year. We're 27 and 25. Yeah, absolutely.
Let's kill that brontosaurus.
Absolutely. And dream wedding? Her dream wedding should be to get married to you, not to get married in some cupcake icing sugar castle Barbie planet, right? I mean, get married to you. And you know, you will remember this wedding, and you will look back and you will smile and say, hey, remember how we had to cancel our dream wedding and get married over Skype? I mean, that's just kind of memorable. Anyway, so how do you reconcile the idea of strong borders with believing in a stateless society? Well, in order to achieve a stateless society, you need to have a majority of the population who believes in small government and free markets. And Just about everybody coming into Western countries is anti-free markets and anti-small government, and that has not changed for generation after generation after generation. So,
I need your meat.
Sorry. I mean, I wish that you could just reshape people's brains like potting clay with your words, but you can't. How much do you think the New York Stock Exchange will fall? Has the collapse even yet started? So there is a reset. There is a reset. And it's not the coronavirus, it's that stocks are overvalued as a whole, in my humble opinion. I mean, you've got Boeing out there taking free money from the Fed to some degree and causing like massive buybacks of their own stock, and it drives the price up of stocks, but it's not real. Have you ever done a podcast with Scott Adams? I have. Have you ever done a video on the Fabian Society? It was the beginning of socialism in the West. I have not. Do you know if Nigel Farage is the real life 007? Interesting. Let's see here. Somebody says, Steph, here we go. Somebody was complaining. I want to get the complaints out too, right? No.
I didn't think he could crawl up there.
He told me to stop following. I'll do it. I'm tired of explaining to idiots on Twitter that think you are racist and defending you anyways. Unsubscribed. Yeah, listen, man. If it's too much heat, get out of it.
Man, the fall damage is huge.
If the battlefield is causing your eyes to sting and your hands are trembling and you've got the PTSD shakes, then you need to take a break from it for a while and enjoy your life. We're not supposed to be lashed to this charging horse of philosophy to the point where we have no happiness in our life. If you're spending your entire life defending me to people who don't listen to you, that's a terrible way to spend your life. Like, it really is a terrible. Please don't do that. So the fact that you
get out of here, compies.
Taking a break from me, from philosophy, from the cultural battle, please do that. Pace yourself. Take your time. Will the U.S. default on its debt? Well, it's already defaulting on its debt because it's monetizing its debt, just printing money, right? So, all right. We love you from Seattle. Is everything closed down in Canada? Yeah, quite a bit. Quite a bit. Is COVID to cover 5G damage? I don't think so. But again, I'm no real expert. What do you think is the real reason Bill Gates stepped down? Maybe he read Cernovich. Could be. Here we go. You think too highly of yourself. You are a dick. I do not believe you care about dead bodies of strangers any more than anyone else. Okay. So I thought you were just going to unsubscribe. Oh, you wanted to hurt me with these insults, and you saying I'm out of here, and then you come back in to tell me more. Come on, dude, you look ridiculous. I mean, if you're going to leave and slam the door because you're having some whine on hissy fit, then just at least have the fucking balls and self-respect to stay out of the room. Don't just come back in here and kvetch at me more. I'm leaving, slam, and another thing. Come on, man. Come on. But you are a racist. Well, I would suggest not using terms of abuse invented by an ideology that killed over 100 million people. It's just my, you understand that racist has the same relationship with communism that Jew has with Nazism. In other words, it's a term of dehumanization, and it's a term of othering, and it's a term of abuse that leads to violence, of course, in the long run. So, and not even the long run for me. All right. Staff call centers in Ontario, Canada are not shut down. My workplace is threatened to fire many employees, and it is a call center located in a mall frequented by drug addicts and homeless. Could you please find another job, if at all possible? I know it's kind of tough at the moment, but really happy that you were giving out this information. Keep doing it. Thank you very much. I absolutely will. Can you do a truth about David Icke video? I could, but I don't think that I will.
Oh, shit, I am stuck on a tree.
I want to educate through coronavirus philosophy as a whole, right? So, do you know somebody infected? I do not. Most of the people that I know are not in regular life. All right. Where can we donate to your channel? Seriously? It's right there on the it's right there on the freedomain.com/donate, right there below me on the video. All right, a couple more questions. You guys are fascinating. Is China plotting a globalist empire hostile takeover now? Well, Chinese are very patient, right? So one of the unfortunate advantages that dictatorships have over democracies is democracies plan for the next 6 months, if at all. Right? They're just planning for the next election. They're just plan for the next couple of months, next 6 months. China literally has plans.
Oh my God, he knocked me over the...
Right? So they're very patient. It's like Islam, right? They're very patient in their expansion. And so, all right. Let's see here. Somebody says, I've been sharing your virus updates. Hey, not too many trolls. Except for the people who dislike me, which is... All right. Don't take the mandatory vaccine, which will be coming. See the documentary Vaxxed for evidence of big pharma corruption. Yeah, I'm reading a book called Mental Health, Inc. And it's really quite chilling just how much corruption there is in big pharma. It's just horrendous. Will philosophers cure this virus or do anything useful at all anytime in the future? I don't know about philosophers as a plural. You're doing a great job. Big thank you. Do you like scotch? No, I don't like hard liquor. I will have a light beer from time to time, but I don't like hard liquor at all. And, you know, it's just straight up.
Oh, God damn it.
Sugar. Bro, you look like my left nutsack. You know, if you're spending a lot of time, like if people are starting to look like balls to you, you might be spending too much time staring at balls. That's just a kind of basic axiom. I think Aristotle introduced that. Truth about Pierre Elliott Trudeau? Yeah, I guess possible. But there just seems to be quite a lot of more important stuff going on at the moment. Oh, got to get that book. Can you post the title again? Yeah, it's Mental Health, Inc. by, I think, Levine, Levine. It starts off with a lot of Trump bashing, so you kind of got to skim that stuff, but it's good after that. Will prostitution go bankrupt over coronavirus? Let's hope so.
Okay.
Any plans to visit Poland again? I would love to, but travel is, of course, a bit of a challenge right now. How can we best practice the non-aggression principle during these times? Stay home. Let's see here. G'day. Stefan here late. Australia has gone insane. Yes, I don't doubt so, but you know, Australia usually goes a kind of cool, good kind of insane. Less guy with an axe and more Hunter Thompson. All right. What will happen to the housing market? Let's see here. Should I wait to buy something? I would not go on a lot of purchases right now because if a lot of old people die, then a lot of houses are going to go on the market, and there will be some people will be afraid to buy it because of coronavirus, and other people might be able to get it cheaper. But again, I'm not suggesting you buy or sell anything. How is your health these days since your neck cancer? Well, it wasn't neck cancer. I just had a lump in my neck, but it was lymphoma as a whole. I don't know, 6-7 years ago. My health is just great. Thank you very much. Can you do truth on the current economic situation? I don't know that I can when it's in such transition at the moment. But as I did say, you know, I did say many years ago, prepare yourself, there will be no economic recovery. And that's important as well. Exactly. Why should I care about other people? Do you want other people to care about you? Do you feel like a social animal? Do you want to... Anyway, all right. Right. Will you be doing the call-in show again? Yes, I will be doing the call-in show. I'm going to try and run it every Sunday. I think 11 a.m. or so, and the way that you get in is subscribestar.com/free domain. You can, sorry, $3 a month. I just have to have some kind of limit. The amount of messages and requests pouring in is absolutely beyond my capacity to handle in terms of like being able to do everything. So, yeah, just go in there and we do the call-in show. We already have one. You know what? Maybe I'll give you guys a little wee bonus. Can I give you a little wee bonus? Give you a little wee bonus. You know, just for staying in this, oh my gosh, hour and a half. You guys are too cool. Too much fun. All right. We're almost done.
I'm definitely going to be able to.
So here in the chat window, I will give you, I do have an upload, I haven't released it yet, of a call-in show that was really good. It was a really, really good. We did a dream analysis, which I haven't done for a long time. But let me give you a link. I will give you a link. I don't have any thumbnail.
Now I need keratin to make.
Here, I'm going to put it in the chat, and you guys can enjoy your little. Sorry, I shouldn't say. You can enjoy your preview of a call-in show. Will it let me post it? Let's see here.
Where'd that trach go?
That I don't know.
I need stuff with horns to kill.
Where are the super chats? Dude, I've been demonetized forever. And they're not going to give me any monetization back, so. We going into recession or depression? It depends. It depends how quickly the Band-Aid comes off.
Oh, what is that?
All right. Is UBI the future in America? No. If the UBI comes in, there will be no future. What's your best type of cheese? Good question. It's a good question. I like me a sharp, tangy cheddar. But Havarti with some spice is also very nice. And I actually kind of like these. You can get these logs of cheese. I think it's kind of like a feta cheese with these raspberry puree on top. Sorry, a cranberry puree on top. It's really, really good. All right. Do you think the U.S. will declare martial law?
Are you pooping back there?
T-I-A-L, sorry. I don't think any. Are you a huge fan of Hunter S. Thompson? I like some of his writing, although he himself, as a human being, was he was a horrendous guy. All right. Do you know that Sid Vicious's mom was pretty much the one who killed him?
What?
Not surprising that he was on heroin so badly. How do I cope with my girlfriend's extremely progressive parents? She herself is progressive, but not as far gone. Well, I don't know, man. That's a tough call. That's a tough call, man, because if you want to have kids, how are you going to raise the kids, right? Are they going to constantly see their parents arguing about stuff that they can't understand? Why are you so damn sexy? There is a question for the ages. I will let the audience ponder that one. All right. Do you think Scotland should be independent? Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, I mean, Alberta could have had borders by now. Here's a funny thing too, right?
Shit.
Will you talk to Jesse Lee Peterson? I love Jesse Lee Peterson. I just haven't had time to connect with him lately.
Ah!
But, yeah, I've done a couple of shows with him before. He's a great guy to watch, and you should follow him on Twitter. He is very funny and very, very incisive. So, oh my gosh, did I just lose my thought? Let me just go back up here because somebody had a good question. Do you like classical music? I do. By the by, I'm quite a big fan of the singer John Anderson of Yes and John Evangelos. He did some solo albums that were pretty good. I just saw a video of him singing at the age of 74, and he sounds just as good. It's really pretty wild. Oh yeah, this is what I wanted to mention. So how long do you think it's going to be until the global warming people tell us that global warming is actually a good thing because it kills off the virus sooner, or it changes people's behaviors to the point where the virus is better off? The virus is worse off and we're better off, right? So it turns out global warming might actually be really helpful for saving people from coronavirus, but you'll never. Will unfunded liabilities turn into smoke after crypto gets widely adopted? Is it the best solution you can think of too? Okay, so unfunded liabilities, they don't turn into smoke, they're already smoke. $180 trillion in America on a $16 or $17 trillion economy, half of which is women spending divorce money and government workers. So, no, unfunded liabilities are there's complete fabrication. What do you think of women on Tinder? They are sex addicts, or rather attention addicts, which lead to being a sex addict. Commies are bloodsuckers. It's kind of an insult to parasites, my friend. Can you play an instrument? Well, I sing a little, and I played violin for about 10 years when I was younger, but I'm not quite sure that I could do much with it anymore. It's been quite a while. Sarah says, great job, Steph. Been sharing your vids. I don't know if anyone will listen to me, but my conscience is clear. Well, that's important. You know, going through life with a clear conscience is a really important thing. Because I'm in my 50s now, I'm going to be 54 this year. Whew, time flies. But,
yeah,
I have seen what life looks like for people who have a bad conscience. It is literally a fate worse than death. It is a fate worse than death to live with a bad conscience. It is horrifying. It is horrifying. So please, whatever you can do to have a good conscience. And good conscience is just about being honest and sharing important information, telling the truth, and having moral courage. It doesn't have anything to do with outcomes, which are beyond your control. My conscience is good. All right. Will the U.S. strike China back? God, no. I hope not, anyway. Because the punishment for China should be economic ostracism. It should be like nobody buys from China. Come on, right? the idea that it should be war.
He's gonna kill me.
Terrible. Michelle says you are sexy because you are calm. Calm? Calm! Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. God! Listen to Chopin. Very, very nice. I like Liszt as well, but Stefan, thank you for everything. Thanks for tonight. I'm signing off. Do you think you will write a peaceful parenting book? I think so. Yeah, after this, I think it's important, but I need a researcher. Will you do a show with Tommy Sotomayor? I would love to do another show with Tommy. Call me, Tommy. That would be great. Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you're going to say? Why? No, but definitely with debates, yes. Yeah, I'm loving being wrapped in a warm blanket of good conscience and godliness. No, sounds like a pretty warm blanket. All right. My Instagram-obsessed girlfriend is in crisis. The nail bars are shut, and so is the hair salon. Should I learn how to Photoshop? No, you should just get a less vain girlfriend. Vanity is the fear of appearing original. Why is your video so clear? You have high bandwidth internet for streaming. I have been working quite hard to get my bandwidth and my whole setup to be as clear as humanly possible. Yes, Prince Albert of Monaco has tested positive for coronavirus. Cannes Film Festival has been cancelled because of coronavirus. Prime Minister Molyneux. Yeah, my French is not good enough for that. You haven't been on Louder with Crowder in a while. Is everything okay between you two? Yeah, fine as far as I know. I'm certainly happy to go back on. If they want to get in touch with me, I would be happy to do that. Where is Hunter Biden? When will you stop filming in 4K? I don't know that anybody needs more of my freckles and wrinkles. So this is 1080 and 60 frames a second. I think that's just about fine. What happened to Lauren Southern? You should check her Instagram. She's been posting pictures of her baby. All right. Love your philosophy, mate. You rock. Well, thank you very much. Not my philosophy. I'm going to be nitpicky. I'm so sorry. All right.
Hi.
So, okay, I'm going to close this down. You guys are way too much fun to chat with, and I have...
what do you got all over your fingers?
0 in an hour.
You playing in the wood stove?
I appreciate that. And that's great. Baby. That's good to see. So, have yourselves a wonderful week, guys. Don't forget to drop by tomorrow, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That is, oh Lord, the 20th of March 2020 for my live debate with Jean-Francois Gariepi on moral nihilism versus the truth, universally preferable behavior. Don't forget to drop by the Discord server available, subscribestar.com/free domain. We're going to do debate prep tomorrow probably, and people really help me out with that kind of debate prep. Hugely appreciated. And love you guys so much. Drop by freedomain.com/donate to help me out, or just drop by to read the blog.
No, I don't have any snow out here anymore.
The most I think one is
actually, I put in a $300 seed order.
The art of the argument. And
I asked my wife to do that a couple of weeks ago.
And she didn't. Stay safe, stay home. So. We'll get through this, and the world may be a much better place as a result.
So I gotta do it myself.
Take care.
Like everything else.
I'd like to begin with a trigger warning.
I'm gonna listen to that.
Beware. Our panelists tonight are going to address the holy trinity of campus.
Okay, I got plenty of prime on that bad boy. Okay.
You feel threatened by these subjects. We don't have any counseling for you. We don't have any happy.
Let's listen to his debate with Gariepi.
CIS
Are you pooping? You need to go on a potty? No. Oh, it's too late? Okay. Well, Daddy, I'll take you up and change you.
We are here debating moral nihilism versus universally preferable behavior. See, I always put the right one last. And we're here with JF Gariepi. Is there anything that you wanted to mention to the audience? There are, of course, some people who know you but don't know me, some people who know me but don't know you, and I'm sure a few people who know us both, and probably even fewer who know neither of us. Is there something you wanted to mention to the audience that is coming in?
Well, for those who don't know me, my name is Jean-Francois Gariepi. I'm a PhD in neuroscience. I've been interested in evolution cognition, social cognition, moral behaviors, and the emergence of life. I'm the author of a book called The Revolutionary Phenotype, which seeks to describe the mechanism that happens when life forms starts changing their own genes, which I believe is what happened 4 billion years ago, and I believe it's about to happen again in human civilization, and it has severe consequences on the patterns of evolution in which we will lock ourselves in.
Yeah, I'm destined to be debating revolutionaries from here to eternity, pretty much at the moment, which is kind of cool.
What are
And
you
you
doing?
spent, did I get this right, half a decade studying monkeys, not just in preparation for this debate, but as a whole?
Absolutely. I've spent my postdoctoral work in Duke University, and I lived among groups of monkeys. We were studying 16 monkeys approximately in the lab, playing computer games, doing social stuff. And we also had an island with many hundreds of monkeys living in the wild, studying their genes, the relation between genes and social cognition.
Very, very cool. And you want to give your website and all that kind of stuff?
Well, for those who want to follow me, JF Garyepi on Twitter, or just go to JFG live stream on YouTube. In fact, tonight after this stream, I'll do a coronavirus stream because we will be studying the medication aspect. There's lots of confusion about the coronavirus. And by the way, we're here to talk about moral nihilism, but what a spectacular world we live in, and what a worrying time. And in fact, that's what I will be talking about, the medication aspect of coronavirus. There's currently 3 hypothetical medications. No one is sure if they will work, so I'll be doing that. That's at JFG live stream.
Well, great. All right, so give me just one tiny split second here to get people updated with the actual live stream address, and then we can start up. Now, there's a couple of ways we can open about this. Somebody had a suggestion, I think it may in fact come out of Sam Harris, which is that we could start by giving the position that the other person has. Because I think I understand the moral nihilist position. You, of course, have criticized universally preferable behavior, my theory of ethics, which I think assumes that we understand each other's position. It is an interesting thing to see, and it does help avoid straw man if we were thinking of
There we go.
taking the other person's position as the opening statement. We could try it that way. Or, of course, what we have to do, as you know, is rigorously define our terms to make sure we don't get lost in the swamp of not exactly straw man, but speaking past each other from these standpoints. Do you have any particular preference about ways to begin?
I love this idea. I think we should represent each other's position and then go from there.
All right, so I'll need to do what? How do you do your hair here? Something like... No, that just makes me look like a rooster.
Baby?
All right, something like that. Something like that. Yeah, no, I think that would be great. I could start off with the moral...
Yeah, we're gonna go upstairs now.
nihilist
okay?
position.
Daddy's gonna
but
get
just
off
before
the,
we do that,
the computer, and
did
we're
you
gonna go
want to
upstairs.
define what nihilism is? I mean, I know that it's a position not just delegated to morality, but did you want to define nihilism just to
All right, guys. I'm gonna see you later. I'll be
Absolutely.
on.
Nihilism is